Hey, what's up everybody? It's Phil and it's 3D Japan, and today we've got something really special. This is Creality's brand new Hi 3D printer. Yes, it's called the Hi printer, and it has got a lot of great useful features from what I can see that make it good for like the whole family, and very easy to use, very automated and all. So I have to assemble it. I just got it out of the box because the box was like up to here. It was way too big to do it on camera. So I just got it out of the box. Still has all the stickers and some tape and stuff on it. They have a video of putting it together, so let's take a look at that. But first let's see what was in the box here. Of course we have the gantry, we have the main printer body. We have a cable here with some sticky tape. I don't know exactly what that is. That's a little sample of white filament. We got a bag of tools and some screws and some lube and some little plastic caps. Okay. Then we've got a few more tools, manual, extra pair of flush cutters with nippers, and we have some, looks like a PTFE tube. Over here we have the spool holder and the cable. That's pretty much all that's in the box. Okay. We do have one more big thing that's in the box that we'll get into later. Okay, so let's look at this video I've got on my phone here. So I know the first step from the video is to just take the gantry and just pop it in there. Oh, you gotta slide this all the way back or all the way forward. Nope. All the way forward. And we just pop the gantry in. Move this over a bit. Okay, then we've got some screws to put in. It looks like these screws are pretty much all the same, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure that out. Okay, you can't see it, but at the bottom of the gantry arms here, there's 2 screw holes on either side. Okay, so 2 of these screws have a flat, like, cylindrical head. Others are rounded. It's the rounded ones that go in here. Okay, so those flat-headed screws, or cylindrical screws, actually go in the back here. You can see they go in right here and here. Alright, let's get them in. Okay, then there's just 2 or 3 wires inside these legs here that pop right into holes that are right next to them. So this is super easy. Right, and next step, we've got these little covers that cover over those holes. whoop, on the back here, I got some little clips that this cable can go in. There we go. And then it'll plug in on top there. Get a look at it. And that seemed to be it for assembling the printer itself. Then we just have the spool holder. Okay, so there's this little piece that holds a PTFE tube that can slide in here. And then there's one more screw left that can go in there. Okay, attach that in. And this can clip up top. Okay, so we're done assembly. That was really quick. That's right, we've got it all set up, and that's right, there's something else here. This is Creality's CFS, the Creality Filament System. Let me first mention, if you hear any noise in the background, it's just that it's really noisy outside. I can't really do anything about it. But, so, the CFS here, you can open that up, and you can see I've got it all loaded up. And it's really easy to load. The filament just drops in and goes into this little tube, which is great because I understand some other filament systems like this, there's no tube and it can wear down the hole. And from what I understand, you can easily just take these tubes out and swap them. So how it connects is pretty easy. See, there's we have one cord that goes into the side of the printer. We have a PTFE tube that goes into the back of here and then into this little box, which you have to glue onto the side of the printer with some sticky tape. And then tube goes from there into the hot end. Then, yeah, so as far as power, it gets its power from the printer, so you only need one outlet for both of these. And of course you don't have to use this. You can put a spool up here and then just stick this into the hot end. Okay, just keep that there for now. So the first thing that I printed was this little poop catcher. So every time it changes colors, it cuts the filament and spits out a little bit of printer poop and spits it off to the side over this way. So you have this that attaches on the side over here, and it supposedly catches all the poop that spits out. So I have tried this, I've done a number of prints, and I've found one thing with a taller print. It spits it out of the print head, so the print head is up much higher, and it can spit it out well past this. So over here now I have a whole bunch of little bits that I'm going to have to clean up. But it works pretty well, especially for smaller prints. It works fine. I'm thinking I might want to make like a skateboard quarter pipe that goes up there to catch all the bits that shoot out. But let's see how it works when we turn it on. Okay. Hey, let me briefly interrupt the video to say if you like this cool X-Wing shirt or the Tron shirt I was wearing earlier, check out geeksoutfit.com. They've got all kinds of cool, nerdy, geeky kinds of shirts and other clothing and stuff like that. Check them out at geeksoutfit.com and use code PHIL25 to get 25% off. Okay, so it'll take a minute for the printer to boot up, and then you'll see it starts loading and unloading each spool, which is a little time consuming. And there's one thing that you have to keep in mind, it's unfortunate, is that some spools do not work in it. Or they'll work a little bit, but then they get snagged and tangled up in there. And so they sent me 4 spools of their Solian brand, which I never heard of before. I guess it's something new. And these all do work in it. They work fine, thankfully. Would have been a bad review of this if it didn't work in there. Oh, now you can see it's loading and unloading. See if you can see it. But yeah, so one of the first spools I tried was some of this old inland PLA, very low spool. I was trying to print the poop catcher with it. And yeah, it all snagged and got jumbled up inside here. And so then I thought maybe because it's almost empty. So I switched to this Creality Hyper Series white, and this also did it. So I'm not exactly sure what the problem is, if it's the size or something, but I found if you put one in and you roll it like that and it rolls fine, then it'll work. If it kind of drags a little bit like these do, no good. So I'm going to have to do a little more research to figure out exactly what the problem is and maybe report it back to them. Maybe they can update this for future models. Yep, looks like it's all done loading and unloading. Oh, not yet. We're unloading the white there. Now it's loading that silver. Okay, and if you can see the tube here, you can actually see it load up into this thing. Now, there's one thing to keep in mind, let me close this for a moment, is when you're unboxing this thing, it's a huge box, there's tons of packing material and everything. Make sure that you check every possible area things could be. Because I was looking for this box. I was following the directions. It said to plug this box in here, and I couldn't find it anywhere in the stuff that I unboxed. Well, I had already thrown out all the packing material and everything. So I went out into my trash can, got the bag out, and found this with that hole in it. And inside that hole was this and some of the PTFE tube. So just make sure you really go through all of the packing material. Okay, this looks like it's ready to print now. Let's take a look at the software and see how we set up a slice for multicolor printing. All right, here we are in Creality Print. And so the first thing you're going to want to do is come up here to your printer, and I'll select the new printer. I already have it in here, but you'll come down to Add, and then you'll see it listed under CR Series, Creality Hi, and you'll just pick whichever one you have. It'll be the 0.4 millimeter nozzle is what comes with it. And click OK. So I'm going to switch to mine. Okay, that's switched over. And so next thing, you're going to want to add the extra spools. So up here is where you would normally just adjust your PLA. And so we can add more up here with the plus button. That's plus, plus, plus. So now we've got 4. And we can click the section at the top to change the color that you want. Suppose I want this to be blue. I'm going to be working with a blue filament today. And then underneath, as usual, you'll be choosing what type of filament is in that slot. And I've got some Solyin PLA. And then, of course, you can click on the pencil to choose the settings for that PLA or that filament that you loaded. All right, so let's load up a sample model here. File, test model. Let's load a benchy. Okay, there's our benchy. Zoom in. Let's scale him up a little bit. Say 200%. All right, we've scaled up as a big benchy. Okay, so let's do a little painting on him. So these buttons out here appear to be grayed out, but you can click on them after the benchy is selected or the object is selected. So click that, and so now we can do our painting on here. So we have the triangle brush, circle brush, fill, height range, gap fill, and sphere. Okay, so I'm going to pick one of my other colors. I'll say red, and I'll do fill, and we'll see what it does here. So as you're moving the mouse around, it will select the different areas for you. So I can click there, and it's basically making that entire area red. Now let's bring our smart fill angle down and pick yellow. And see, now, so now we've just got the roof is yellow. All right, so there's one thing I noticed, go back to that, is when I was doing mine, I had a little bit of trouble selecting some of these whole areas on here. Okay, so I got the outside of this line here. Let's zoom in, make sure we get all those areas. Okay, it doesn't really matter. You can click on those tiny areas. But I had some trouble selecting this one up here, which seems like it is working now. But what I ended up doing was going in with the circle brush, and you can change the brush size or pen size, and then you can just paint on the model. So if there's an area that you're having trouble getting with the fill, you can just go in and paint that area. Okay, and if you want to undo, I believe you can Control Z, yep, or you can just go back to the other color and paint over it. The height range, oh, let's pick the yellow. Mhm. Ah, there it is. So we can click and yeah, and we can make stripes that way. And sphere, pen size. Yep, so that's basically the same as the circle. You just paint all over with it. And go to erase all paintings. And we're back. Okay, so that's basically how we do our painting. And then we just go ahead and here I'll fill something in here. And we'll slice. Okay, and now that it's sliced, we can zoom in and we can slide this down and we can see what it's going to do as it's actually printing. Yep. All right, let's go and take a look at some of the things that I printed. So we looked at how we set up the print, and I got a bunch of prints done, and let's see how some of them look. First, I've got the bench sheet, which I made a little extra big, just because it would be a little more easy to see and fun that way. And this one was done with all 4 of the colors that they sent along. Unfortunately, the colors that they sent are nice, but they don't really go together that well. So it's not the prettiest benchy. So next up, I've been going to 3D Printopia for the past couple years, and I'd like to go to a lot more conventions. And one thing that people are doing lately is passing out, there used to be maker coins, now they're maker chips. So these are like a poker chip done on a multicolor printer, has your logo or whatever on it, and a QR code on the back with your links and all. And so I designed these, those there, and you can get a closer look at them and you can scan the QR code if you want. But I think these came out really well. I did have to play with the settings quite a bit just to get it really dialed in and looking really good. I still have one of them, not these, one of these has a little bit of a problem with it where it's not fully, the colors aren't fully blended together, but I'll tweak the settings a little more and I'm sure it'll look much better. So next up we have a model of the logo of today's sponsor, PCBWay. The model came out looking good. And so PCBWay, if you don't know, they do printed circuit boards, PCBs, for all your electronics projects, but they also do 3D printing, and they do CNC work for metal, and they do 3D printing in metal. And they could do 3D printing in a lot of materials that maybe your machine at home or this one or some others can't do. So you get the materials that you won't be able to get otherwise. So check out PCBWay.com and we'll continue on. So next up in the slicer, I meticulously painted this Deadpool bust. And you can see a few problems here where there's got some splits in there, parts of his head are halfway through, and that is when I discovered the problem with the spools aren't not turning correctly, and that was the white that I had put in there. That was this white that I was using that didn't turn correctly, so it snagged and we ended up with kind of a messed up print. But then I found another spool of white that works, and I decided to do an even bigger one. Bam! So this, I really love how this came out. This is some red from Polymaker, and it looks really good. And yeah, turn that around. Yeah, I'm going to be happily displaying this print in my house. Now, one thing to keep in mind is, as I mentioned before, every time it changes colors, it spits out a little printer poop. And so just out of curiosity, I collected up some of the printer poop. And here is all of the leftover waste from this model. And it's a lot. I had to empty my tray here several times. But yeah, so I weighed all of this, and I weighed the print, and the waste actually weighs about twice what the print does. So just keep that in mind when you're printing multicolor, that it is going to use a lot of filament. Alright, so that's my look at Creality's Hi Combo. It was extremely easy to assemble it, very easy to print with it. It's great for beginners. Yeah, aside from some of the concerns about multicolor printing in general, which would be the same with any printer, it's a really great machine. I really enjoy it, and I'm going to be printing with it a lot. It's going to live right over here on this table for future videos. Alright, so that's it. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Check out Creality's website for this printer that is on sale now. And I'll talk to you next time.